Hey everyone, Steve here from Big Head Tech, and today, I wanted this unboxing for some time. As you may know, the Master Box series is not known for airflow, but this one, the MB511 RGB, has a mesh front. So I'm really excited. I think it was $70, $80, something like that. I think it was under 90 bucks. 3 addressable RGB fans. They're all in the front, I'll put one in the rear. Nice tempered glass side panel, mesh in the front, decent overall size. I mean, that sounds like a big win to me, especially when you're looking like the NZXT H510, which you guys love that video, being really pretty close in price, as well as having not only an extra fan, but also addressable RGB. So let's open it up, take a look at it. I'll do a build in it and give you my final thoughts. Okay, let's open her up. So the premise of this build is Flight Simulator 2020 is out. And the last build I did for this guy, hopefully you guys heard that static discharge, was in 2013. 3770K HD 7970, which was pretty close to the baddest you could build back then, more or less. And that won't do with Flight Simulator 2020. Need a little bit more oomph. So really thick, I will give it that. The cardboard, or the foam is definitely very thick. It's not soft foam, but it is what it is. So I'm already seeing early signs of where Kohler Master has cut some cost here, but that's to be expected. So a couple things I already noticed. So your mesh filters here, not magnetic really. The top one is, which is definitely a plus. It's not super heavy. Let's go ahead and take off the side panel here. So it looks like they have 2 of these, and then it hinges in the bottom. I don't mind that because less to line up and deal with. I will say this, these screw holes are quite big for the size. I'd almost recommend getting a flat screwdriver. And we'll lift off here. We'll put these back in so we don't lose them. Yeah. The way these are designed, it definitely looked like that. Okay. Okay, so that should be good there. So let's take a look at Flex. About as much as I thought. Has a single SSD drive mount, but has a slot for a second, so I'm going to say that might be down below. We have, well, I guess the mesh is going to act as a filter. We'll go ahead and pull off these here, which I'm not a big fan of, but I guess it's easier to clean that way. So it is what it is. Back screws are also over torqued. Good job there. I do like captive screws. So looking at the rear here, cool. So it looks like this is 3-pin addressable, which is good. Has inline controller. These are all black. I do like to see it. The only thing that's going to be ketchup and mustard is going to be the HD audio, but that's to be expected. Let's actually, I was wrong. There's not a second included SSD drive mount down here. Now, I'm actually not upset about that. Because I believe these are going to act as SSD drive mounts as well. Yeah, there's things to go in here. And then these will also have, yep, these also have SSD drive mounting, it looks like. So we should be good there. So I'm okay with just including the one. It just, they allow you to move it around. Pretty good there. These rear guys are removable, and this might be just me, but I hate it when they have this like thing back here you gotta mess with. I just want to go straight in here, screw it in, call it a day. Now, power supply looks like it's fine to get in. I like the radiator capabilities. So what you'll see here is there's gap here, so you can easily fit probably a front 360 if I had to guess. Let me take a look here. Yeah, the problem is there's gonna be obstruction, unfortunately, it is what it is. It also looks like this bottom fan it's installed a little weird. And we're going to be moving this fan out. So let's go ahead and take off the front here. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. And I'm actually curious why. See, they didn't use through screws though. That's frustrating. I don't know why they would do that. They use these caps that I want to say, yeah. Okay. At least they'll come out somewhat. So, okay, I see what they did. Let me pull this out. So, essentially, they put this tube down, and you see how it like opens up by pushing this all the way through, and it kind of holds the fan in place. I don't like that. I am going to literally probably not well, it's not an expensive fix, but see, okay, so let's see what we have included in here, because I don't like that. You could just use through screws. I mean, you use those for radiators all the time. I doubt there's going to be any included in here. Now they do include a bunch of zip ties, so that's definitely a plus here. Nah, it doesn't look like they do. That's definitely a shame. It's funny, I just took out some screws. And here's an inline controller. This is good if you don't have addressable RGB, which is fine. I do appreciate them including that. I hate it though when they include the controller as like its main, like, you know, you have to use the controller, and that's definitely very frustrating. So I'm gonna go ahead and build in it. Like I said, I'm not a fan of this, and it's not because I can't easily fix this. I can. It's because the average person may not have through screws that you use for like radiators. And the problem with that is, you know, they might have to tear down their computer later if they want to do what I want to do, which is I'm going to put one of these in the rear. You know, it's, see, this is what really gets me with case manufacturers, like NZXT, for example. The S510, highest reviewed, or highest viewed video on my channel. I don't like it because, in my opinion, granted this stuff's pretty easy, it should be able to be out of the box turnkey and 2 rear fans. Although it's been proven, I will say this, it has been proven that it does work a little bit better in the rear. My testing didn't prove that, but other people's had it. So my testing was margin of error. But just positive air pressure, less dust. Let's think about it this way. When you look at the average consumer that builds a computer, sure, you might get the bug, you want to play with it, but to be honest, I don't like tearing down my computer if I don't absolutely have to. Sure, I tear down dozens of computers a month sometimes. But I want to be able to set up turnkey and let it go. The less time I have to spend maintaining it, dusting it, making sure it's okay, the better. And same thing goes to the average consumer. They want to be able to set it and forget it. So not only are they going to have to probably install an extra fan in that case, and then move the one fan up front, then you're also, you know, it's just spending more time and energy, which is why I think 2 in the front, 1 in the rear. 2 in, 1 out, positive air pressure, done deal. So either way, let me go ahead and build in it, and that way I can wrap it up and give you my final thoughts. So what do I think of this case? A couple little quirks, but overall I'm quite happy. I really wish they would have put the fan down here, back here, whenever I originally, or whenever I opened it. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But I don't really have too many negative things to say about it. There's no actual filtration, it's mesh, so that's something to think about. Cutouts are fine, but no grommets, for example. Room up top was okay, but if I've installed a Hyper 212 in there, so that actually might have made things a little bit more difficult to do. I'll find out. But yeah, there's not a lot of top room, so I will say this, just kind of taking a look. 240s are fine. 280s may have clearance issues, so just do keep that in mind. But overall, I mean, it was 90 bucks. Airflow's fine. It's running a bit hot. That CPU cooler is just not doing a good job. The GPU is fine. So we'll go ahead and swap that out for a Hyper 212 EVO RGB. And that's it. So I'm going to say, you know what? I think you're going to compromise a little bit. I think at this price point, like my 500DX by Be Quiet's a vastly superior case from build quality and just airflow and everything like that. But you also don't have the really, really nice RGB fans. I mean, like look-wise, right? So I just spent like an extra $40, which then they're not really competing with each other. So I would say if you're trying to go cost-effective RGB mid-tower, it's a good buy. The cool thing with this is there's very few cables. There's two PCI Express, a 24-pin, a 8-pin, and the RGB is a nice splitter. So like I didn't even bother cable managing it. If I think I'm doing a build log on this, I didn't even bother cable managing it. It just didn't make sense. There were so few cables that like tying them down for me was just like, I mean, you should, right? If you're like really super professional, but if it looks decent and it looks fine, so I was okay with that. So link in the description below if you want to buy it. Do note if you buy anything during that session, I do get a very small, but I do get a commission from Amazon for that, so keep that in mind. So if you want to support me, great. If not, just note that if you follow that link, you would then support me. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it, dislike it, leave a comment, get subscribed, and as always, this is Steve from Big Head Tech, and I'll see you later on down the road.